All right. Thank you. Hi, everyone. All right. So this talk, I thought I would start from answering the high-level question that we keep getting all the time from Bitcoiners and non-Bitcoiners, like, what the hell are you guys doing in El Salvador, right? And why? Because like now we're here for the second time. We brought this time 15 people from Bitrefill. We're making a big effort. It's not entirely obvious. I'm going to go through why we're doing what we're doing, how it's going. I'm going to show metrics. And after that, at the end, there's going to be a big announcement as well. So please stay awake. But so in brief, Bitrefill was founded on a vision of the circular Bitcoin economy, right? A world in which Bitcoins are not only traded and held on exchanges and banks, but actively transacted between people and businesses, right? A world in which it's as common to use your wallet as any other app, where people actually use their wallets every day. And that's what we're working towards. What we're practically doing on a day-to-day basis is we have a service where you can buy gift codes and digital goods online for any e-commerce or other kind of commerce that you want to do. So you can just go on Bitrefill, you can pick a website that you want to shop from, you do click, 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 you pay with Lightning, you get your gift code, and then you can do e-commerce with Bitcoin without ever touching the traditional financial system. So in terms of building a circular Bitcoin economy, El Salvador is probably the lowest hanging fruit, the easiest one. And that's not to say that it's easy in any way. But there's a lot of things that make it somewhat more feasible. I'm going to go into that. And if we can't make it here, it's going to be tough when the next time we'll get this opportunity. But if we do make it here and we actually build a successful Bitcoin economy, then we will all have a playbook for how to do these things, how to do marketing with the mass market instead of just being a niche within a niche. The biggest, I think, and this might be controversial, but like just having a government that isn't trying to, put sticks in your wheels, but actively trying to help, to the best of their ability, not always perfect, but being here in the conferences, supporting in whatever ways they can. That's pretty cool. And having the government be, de-risking the whole Bitcoin thing for people and companies participating in it is something that you shouldn't underestimate. I think that's like the biggest success factor other than all of the practical things. Beyond that, you've heard this metric so many times, the numbers that we used to call remittances, right? But in the Bitcoin world, there is no such thing as remittances because Bitcoins aren't physical, right? And it doesn't matter if somebody buys something with Bitcoin from here or from somewhere else. It's just a Bitcoin purchase, right? But nonetheless, 20% of GDP is coming in from abroad in a flow of value that leads to people having coins to spend. And at Bitrefill, that's like what we look for every day. Where are there people with coins to spend? And so there is, if there's any place where there's a chance of that starting to happen in a big way, it's probably here. And lastly, the infrastructure that's been put in place is super important. There is the Chivo ATMs, people can cash out money into dollars, which is hugely important for trust. There is the de-risking that we talked about. The banks are okay with it. Things kind of just work. Oh, and there's a wallet that millions of people have access to with a couple of clicks. That's also government approved for those who like that sort of thing. So now that we have all of these things, what does it actually look like? For us, our main competition for Bitrefill is this. Good old-fashioned dollar bills, yo. Right? Because, I mean, think about it from the perspective of the common man. You get Bitcoin sent to you, what do? You cash them out to dollars first chance you get. Because you trust dollars, you don't trust bitcoins yet. Right? So the competition is dollar bills, and it's the Chivo ATMs that provide them, and the Banco Agricolo that provides this in a digital way. That's our competition. What's not our competition is these guys. Because in a country with 20% or 30% banking adoption, and maybe 20% with credit cards, that means that like most people don't have payment cards. Yeah, so we're not competing with Visa. They're not here. Yeah, this is a cash-based economy. I also want to throw in another thing. Here's also a bunch of things and companies that are not our competition. All of you guys that are here trying to build payments and the circular economy in El Salvador. And I really want to make a big point about this, because I think all of us sometimes sense a certain frustration from lack of transparency, and governments are going to act like governments, and so you don't find out what the Chivo wallet is going to look like until it launches, and everybody discusses who knows what about the organizational structure and so on. But I think that we as entrepreneurs can actually improve in that regard as well. You know, we have this little, I think, brotherly, friendly competition going on with each other. But I really think that we need to collaborate much more intensively with much higher transparency in order to make this experiment a success. Because it's not a given that it's going to be successful. If it is, then the same tactics will be able to replicate all over the world. If it fails, then what's even the point? So this is me trying to be like, we're not competing with anyone who's here in this room, and I'm going to try to move first and share as much of our data and knowledge as I can. So the main challenge is showing the people benefits of holding Bitcoin as Bitcoin and using it as money, right, and not cashing it out to dollar bills in the Chivo. And our attitude with that is, first of all, to be here in person. We have a policy on Bitrefill that company pays for everybody's trips to El Salvador. Just so we can be here, because you can't really learn this stuff from far away. To talk to people, mainly to listen, right, and to learn. It's quite common that Westerners come with a patronizing attitude, trying to teach people, this is what you should do, this is this, this is that. Our attitude is to listen and to learn, and that's what we're here to do first and foremost. And last, my favorite thing is to launch things, real products, with real customers and real money in production. I'll get to that a little bit later. But so, to think about, for millions of people in this country who have never had any way of paying digitally until now, for the first time now they can, right? Which means that, for example, for the first time you can now pay your bills from your couch instead of putting on your pants and your hat and going down to the corner store to do the errands. Right? Such a small thing that many people probably take for granted that makes life infinitely more convenient. So that's our first benefit, convenience. The second benefit is payment from overseas. We talked about it already. The flows that used to be called remittances, now they're just Bitcoin purchases. Right? And the cool thing with this is that if you are a remittance sender, something that we've learned is that very often people who send remittances want to specify specifically what the money should go to. Why that is, I don't know, but it seems to be a common thing, right? And so now, when you can straight from your Cash App or your Strike app in the US buy exactly the things that you want to buy for your relatives back home, it's pretty big. But the third benefit that we've seen the most of so far is payments to overseas. Because remember, if you're, say you're a 16-year-old in El Salvador and you're playing games and you want to buy the cool skins or the cool guns or whatever that the kids buy in games these days, There's no way to do that, right? You can go into the Play Store, okay, what are you going to do there? You don't have a credit card or a debit card, and your parents don't have a debit card, so you're kind of screwed. And this is kind of like the things that we see, you know, people being able to buy international products, to get things that are taken for granted in other countries, which is quite cool. And the biggest of all is a game called Free Fire. Some people are giggling, but at Bitrefill we say, if you don't know Free Fire, you don't know Bitcoin in El Salvador. Free Fire is a Fortnite-style battle royale game that is hugely popular among the teenagers here in El Salvador. And we very early on saw massive spikes in it, and we started digging into it, thinking like, is this some kind of a, you know, fraud or an abuse or something? And it's like, no, it's real kids. And we even see some of these kids take an entrepreneurial approach, you know, figure out a way to get Bitcoin, buy the Free Fire diamonds, and then resell them to their classmates in school. We also see, here's a picture that I snapped. Sorry for the quality, I didn't know it was going to be in a presentation. But like, I snapped this picture in the city of La Libertad a couple days ago. This is someone who put up an ad saying that, hey, if you want to buy Free Fire, I'm your go-to guy, you can pay me with Chivo. Right? So this is probably someone who's reselling this off of Bitrefill. And this category, the international products, this is 75% of the purchases that Bitrefill has seen from El Salvador during this year, which I think is pretty big. Anyways, the fourth benefit is that value go up. I don't need to tell all of you people, but since I was first here in July, my Bitcoin Beach Bitcoins have almost doubled in value, and I'm sure that other people see this effect as well and start to wonder what's going on here. But let's not go into that. Let's go into metrics. People, everyone I meet says, Sergey, we love it when you share metrics. So I'm going to share metrics. We're going to talk about El Salvador and what we see at Bitrefill. And I'm hoping that other companies will share what they see. So to start off, in the last year, Bitrefill has processed 187,000 individual purchases with Bitcoin this year. Around half of those happened during the time of Strike's launch campaigns, and the other half, ballpark, has happened during the Chivo launch campaign. If we look at it, right, and 98.5% of those have happened with Lightning. So if we look at the flow of payments, you can see that sort of there was a bit of a lull in August and early September. September 7th, something happened. Certain app launched, and our numbers started spiking up. We peaked at around 2,000 payments per day, and now we're steadily surfing around 500 to 1,000 payments per day. And you can also kind of see, you know, the ups and downs, and these things are you know, related to whether or not the Chivo wallet is having a good day that day. We had a couple of bad days recently. Here's another way to look at this. So the payment success is basically an analysis of people that create an order on Bitrefill, and then how many of those orders actually receive a payment in the next step, right? And so in August, we were sitting comfortably around 70%, which is probably somewhere where you want to be, because some people, they just, you know, hey, I don't want to buy this anymore for whatever reason, right? And so we see the dip here around September 7th, September 6th, 7th, but we also see that week over week, it's been steadily improving, right? And so, and now we're back at where we were, meaning that from our perspective, Chivo has improved dramatically. And speaking of Chivo, let's time to look at some wallet stats. So here's the thing that not everybody knows about Bitrefill, but given our ambition to be the best in the world at accepting cryptocurrency payments, we built this widget called the Wallet Selector in our payment screen. And this is an optional feature. where people can select which brand of wallet they use, and we adapt the payment experience to iron out any kinks and bugs and so on. And so a side benefit of that is that we get stats. We see which wallets get selected here. But this is opt-in, right? It's not objective data. It's what people actually self-report. And so, first and foremost, if we look at which wallets people use, there's a lot of Chivo. This is also somewhat misleading upwards, because when there were a lot of issues with Chivo, we started defaulting everybody to the Chivo setting so that we could do the different specific things to make the payment experience better. But judging from our customer service contacts, it's not lower than 50% or 70% of that. The vast majority of usage here is currently happening with Chivo. But if we look at the others, we exclude Chivo. We see that Strike and Bitcoin Beach are quite neck and neck in terms of Bitrefill purchases. And then there is a second league of Moon and Exodus and a little bit Phoenix coming up. But this gets at the end, this gets to relatively low absolute figures. But for the big wallets, this should be actionable. This is an interesting stat. Looking at regions where the purchases are coming from, almost 90% is coming from San Salvador, and not La Libertad, where Bitcoin Beach is. So it's not just the Bitcoin Beach kids buying things, it's actually the ones in the city, the people in the city that are finding Bitcoin and finding Bitrefill in pragmatic, non-ideological ways. All right. People awake? Metrics. Time for a little bit of announcements. First and foremost, just sharing what we have. Our local entity is now up and running, meaning we have a legal entity in El Salvador. We have an office. We have our country manager who was sitting right there just a second ago. There he is. Senior vice president from the company is moving here to run LATAM operations from here, and we're hiring actively on all roles. Bitrefill is a remote-first company, meaning that people can be a little bit wherever they want. But we specifically would like to have people doing marketing and engineering and maybe customer service based at the Bitrefill office in San Salvador, which is the second office that Bitrefill has. But now for the big announcement, and this is something that we've been working really hard on with the team all the way since we were first here in July. We've been working on this, and I'm incredibly excited to share that from now on you can pay your bills in El Salvador with Bitcoin. Woo Squad. So we're starting it out soft with 12 bill payment services. These ones, they're live on the site right now. You can just use the familiar Bitrefill click, click, click refill experience. From here, as we make sure that everything's ticking as it's supposed to, we're going to be gradually rolling out 150 different bill payment services, meaning for living on Bitcoin, you'll now be able to pay for your water, your electricity, your internet, your cable TV, your insurances, your mortgages, your social security, health insurance, your university studies. You can really start living on Bitcoin in El Salvador. And when you're done, you can pay your funeral with Bitcoin. Because you'll also be able to pay funeral homes. And the only thing as certain in life as death itself, taxes. You'll be able to pay your municipal taxes in the city of San Salvador through Bitrefill with Bitcoin. And remember, all of this stuff means that you can pay your own bills from the comfort of your couch. You can pay your family's bills. You can also pay your family's bills from the comfort of your couch in Los Angeles, right? So we're incredibly excited about this, and we're always looking for feedback from people testing this out. There's a bunch of Bitrefill individuals right here. Please give it a try. Pay someone's bill. If you see bugs, report it to us. We're going to work real hard to make sure that this is going to be a fully Bitcoin, fully seamless experience for people to be able to live their life on Bitcoin. And on that note, I thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Sergey. What exciting news to receive here at Adopting BTC, and thank you to Bitrefill for all the work that they continue to do in the country. We have a few minutes before our next fireside chat, so I want to open up the room. Anybody have any questions that they'd like to ask of Sergey of everything you just heard here? We have a question in the back. Could someone maybe help me out with getting a mic back there? Sorry, raise your hand again. Way back in the corner. Okay. I'll be right there. There you go.
Thank you. The bill payment feature, that looks pretty exciting. Will you be providing any way for strangers to pay people's bills? So would the rich folk in this room be able to pay the bills
Yes.
of people living here?
So the question is, can you pay someone else's bills? And yes, you absolutely can.
Excellent.
Thank you. Any other questions? Raise your hand. Any other questions for Sergey? No? Excellent, Sergey. You did a great job.
All right.
Thank you once again.
Thank you very much.
Big hand for Sergey. Thank you.